Okay, wonderful. Okay, just a little bit about ourselves. A couple of years ago, myself and two colleagues set up our own tutoring and private tuition and educational consultancy business, because basically we wanted to get rid of all the red tape, and we just wanted to help children, because that's what we all went into the profession for, you know, to just get into tutoring children, helping them progress. And of course, all our schools do that fantastically, with the additional red tape and everything else that they have to do. So very in awe of them all. So just a little bit about my background. I have been teaching for nearly 20 years now, and I've had many different roles in secondary schools. I've worked as heads of year, head of departments, and also assistant head teacher for quite a few years. I've also worked as an SLE. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's specialist leader in education, whereby I went into different schools and acted as a type of educational consultant, really, at secondary and primary schools, looking at teaching and learning, particularly within computer science, because computer science and maths was my area of specialism. So we've continued to do that as we have created our premises. We do private tuition for one-to-one tuition and for groups of children. But we do that in the evenings as ordinary tuition companies do. But we also work during the day with children that are homeschooled. So we've had quite a few children whereby their parents have needed some additional support with certain subjects, such as the maths or the science or English. And we do other subjects as well. So we've helped with that. Now, as Emma alluded to before, wellbeing is central to our philosophy of the company. So we actually work on developing good, positive teacher-student relationships as well, and getting their confidence back up. Because once children have got the confidence back up, then they are going to make much more progress, much more quickly. So we've worked with quite a few schools there, as you can see. We are going into these schools and working with the children, with some of them in small groups, to provide intervention, such as for maths or English, science, and so on. So how can we help? Well, we can offer one-to-one or one-to-one private tuition at our premises or online. So if people are struggling, if they're still going to be shielding at some point in the future, then we can offer that. Now, that can still be funded through your school if you meet certain criteria. So if you are on 3 school meals, for example, or if your child is classed as having additional needs or is a looked after child, then there should be some funding that the school could allocate for your child to have some tuition from a tuition company, even if they're not in school. So we can do that at our premises, or we can do that online. Okay, we have, even in some cases, we will come to the home, but obviously we are also, as I said, we work with Trafford schools already, so we've already got some contracts with Trafford schools whereby we go in each week and provide tuition for certain cohorts of children. Now, this is going to be continued this next academic year. with obviously what's happened with the gap in learning that COVID has caused. So we're going to go in, and there will be certain cohorts that are identified within the school that they will give to us to work with them on a certain amount of time with certain targets to close those gaps. Now, we are also going to be, we've applied to become a national tutor partnership in the national tutoring programme with the government. Schools are still not sure how that is going to work, because tuition agencies are not, the registration process and the application process doesn't actually come live until the end of August, which is a shame really, because if it had been a little bit earlier, we could have been ready for September. But it is what it is. So then schools will get a list of tutoring companies that they can use, that have been they've been gone through all the checklists with the government and so on, and then, you know, each local authority will have a list of those tutors, and they will then be able to choose those tutors and allocate whether they can do private tuition for certain children, whereby they don't get the intervention in school. They can come in the evening to a tuition company such as ours, which we do all of this already, but obviously not as the NTP. Or we would go into schools, and your child may be part of a cohort that we are actually working with. So that system is already established at quite a lot of schools. So in some ways, it's just a matter of it's going to be funded in a different way. Some schools are new to this, and it is up to the head teacher to actually decide how they are going to allocate that funding, how they're going to use it, whether they're going to use that to employ another member of staff whereby they just do all of the intervention, or whether they're going to use an outside agency such as us. We also offer homeschooling supports, and as that grows, we will probably because we already have some parent groups already for different things, we will create parent groups for that as well, for support with that. We also do community work, and I'll hurry up now because I know I've probably gone past my 5 minutes. Community work that we already do, it's already been established for a couple of years. We work with Sale West, and we're hoping to expand that, but we work with, we have spoken to local authority, but we've also worked with certain schools within Sale West, and we have received funding for that as well, whereby we, for example, children that exams, if their parents or if they were coming from a disadvantaged background, then they would be funded. They would not have to pay for that. We would give that at a very much reduced rate, or we have actually done that free for certain times. So on a Saturday, we will do all of the community work. And so it's just sort of trying for us to give it back to the community and to try to close the gap between advantaged and disadvantaged children. So we also do that in schools as well. So we've always done this, but even throughout with the National Tutoring Partnership Programme, we will, for so many students that we tutor there, or we're doing an intervention programme with them, we will do, say, 2 children. For every 5, we'll do 2 children that are pupil premium children that are from disadvantaged backgrounds. We will to tutor those for free. We're also BDA trained, so British Dyslexia Association trained. We've worked with children between the 3 of us, and we have a greater number of tutors working with us as well. We've got quite a lot of experience with working with children with additional needs as well, and differentiating for those children. So, you know, we've got quite a lot there that we can help people with. And even if, you know, you don't actually come and bring your child to us, or your child isn't getting tutored by us, if you want to, you know, to phone us or to contact us to just ask a question, then please feel free to do so. One of us will have the relevant experience to help you out with finding the answer, or will know who to find the answer from. Okay, and want to contact us, then that's the information that you need. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And also, just to say, Heather, I think I'll be phoning you because I have twin daughters that are 9 years old, and one of them uses her inhaler quite a lot when she gets a cold. So a good link that's been made today for me as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. Just wait for you. That's it. I can see everybody now. Thank you so much. It's really good to hear actually how schools, I know some of the questions that we've had are around catching up, and you know, it was really good to hear from Karen Samples and Kathy Graham, and also from Karen Stepanova last week about, I think that the general feeling is that once children are feeling secure and safe and happy, then schools will start looking at the catch up. So even though it's August when that deadline to apply is, perhaps that will be perfect timing really, because it gives children that welcome period back into school.
Well, certainly, I mean, speaking as a parent as well as an educator, you know, those first few weeks going back are going to be challenging for children. It certainly will be for my daughters. So the first few weeks will probably be just about focusing on the well-being and making sure they feel safe. And that is the most important thing, because children are not going to learn effectively anyway unless that's in place.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.